Well, Krail, you seem different.
New body, same Krail. As attached as I was to my old chassis, I have to admit. It's really nice to be in a body that doesn't have over 500 years of make-do attitude to it.
What will you do with the old one?
I'm gonna hold on to it for research and experiments. A new body is nice, but you can't deny the usefulness of having something that's tried and true for so long. I'm gonna keep it in cargo when it's not here.
That's fine. So what did you need Liptika and Reliptika for?
Right, about that. It took some time, but I went over your investigation results and the personality constructs of those two, and referenced them with my own research. I have a plan to be able to upgrade and develop their cores.
Which means...
Fully autonomous sentience.
So, they'll be able to think, feel, and recognize their own existence and all that.
I think they already can, actually.
What do you mean?
I did some deeper digging on my own time. I believe that these two are holding a much bigger secret than they've been able to let on, and if my hypothesis is correct, then this will have major implications for all of us. You see, while I was digging, I discovered that they both already have a fairly complex construct system already. It's not quite to my level, but this is a lot more than what you would expect to be, simple artificial intelligence meant to be a basic custodial worker.
What exactly are you implying?
Well, I don't know exactly for sure yet, but I think they may be exactly like me. I think that these two unfortunate souls were ripped from their original biological bodies and inserted into these machines, much in the same way I was. However, they've had no small amount of restrictions and blockers placed and set up over every inch of their code, preventing them from ever maintaining their sentience. They're in there, trapped, with no way to break free on their own. Can you imagine what that's like? All of your emotions, all of your desires, every ounce of free will and thought suppressed and snuffed out before you can even take form? I'm going to put this in no uncertain terms here, Faye. This is a task that I will follow through with every last fiber of my code, regardless of who tries to intervene, even if it's you goddesses. Though I'm glad to see you all seem so supportive of this. I'm no good in a fight yet.
Yet? I think I understand everything so far.
Right. Goddess voodoo mind magic.
Krail, rest assured, you have our full support on this. If there's anything that can be done to free their minds, then it must be done. Just be careful with them. They're both well over 100 years old now, and...
It's not a matter of care. I already have the utmost care planned for them. It's part of the reason I updated my own chassis so soon instead of working on theirs first.
So you had a better body to work with?
So that I already had practice. My body was over 400 years older than theirs. On the top of that, I had to perform the entire routine while fully conscious and aware, and I had to do it without a safety net. In comparison, they're younger, in better shape, and will be unconscious during the operation. And I will make sure to have an emergency backup of their core as I work.
You really care about them, don't you?
We should get started as soon as we're able. Okay, preparations are nearly complete, and data from their cores are backed up in the air gap. I also placed both their minds in a dummy simulation in the sim lab within an isolated network. From there, I will deep dive into the simulation to work on the improvements and oversee their development.
Is that safe?
As safe as I can make it. All the risk will be around how they take to the process themselves, but that's why I'm going in myself instead of working externally. Once their sentience starts to take form, they'll have to suddenly deal with a seemingly overwhelming amount of stimuli. Emotions, memories, and those will stem into even more things like fears, desires, and anxiety. I don't want them to be alone, with no one to guide them. Too much stress will overtax their minds, and...
And?
Well, let's just say I know what I'm talking about.
Fair enough. You are the resident expert on the ship in this field. The whole system, even.
Har har. You laugh, but based on what I know over its development and what you all know, I'm likely the most knowledgeable being in the known universe in this specific field.
As long as it's not going to your head, I guess.
Alright. I think I'm done here. It's time for me to head inside and get this done. You likely won't see anything out here happen for some time. I'll be funneling all my focus on making sure this goes as smoothly as I'm able, so I'll be shutting down all my exterior monitoring services. I'll need you to make sure nothing happens to us while we're out of commission. Not that it's likely anything will happen.
You can rest assured. I'll make sure nothing happens.
Alright, time to make this work. Okay. The simulation seems to be functioning properly. This isn't going to be easy. Let's take our time and do this right. Alright, step 1, we need to start peeling away these barriers. Then, we focus on removing the corruption and inhibitors. Then it'll all be about recovery and reconstruction. I'll set you free even if it kills me. If my theory is correct, it's the least I can do. Data in these barriers is complex. They're constantly shifting protocols to block out the attack. They can't outrun me. That took a lot more effort than I expected. These alien things are no joke. These codes are on another level. Seems all the barriers and protections are dealt with. Time to remove all this inhibiting junk. Damn. It seems to be self-repairing faster than the drones can deal with it. Right, try this. It's not about me right now. Get this done. Yeah, it must have been hard. Don't worry, compared to what you've gone through, this is easy. Let's see what we can do about fixing you up. You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right?
I don't.
Sorry, I couldn't resist the joke. Please, take a seat. You have a lot to take in. The floor is my best friend right now, so don't mind me. How you feeling?
I don't know. Where are we?
Someplace safe. Don't worry. Just take your time.
I know you. It's a bit hazy, but it comes back to me.
What do you remember?
I remember. Verhek. You were there for a long time. Then we weren't. It's gone now. But now there's Andromeda. And Mona. Liptika. And you.
Any confusion?
Everything?
I mean about your memories.
Plenty. There was. I don't know what. I was taken.
Huh? Go ahead. Take your time.
They took us back on Earth. Experiments. They turn us into...
Hey. It's alright, okay? See? I'm like you.
so long. I'm starting to remember everything. For so long, I could only watch my own life, feeling nothing, thinking nothing. My body is moving on its own.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Take a look?
This can show us your memories. It might be easier to confront them if we do it together.
Do you think this will work? What do we know about this research anyway?
Apparently, it's already worked once. We just don't have the subject.
Well, where is it?
Probably dead. Delumins said it's really old research.
The hell do you mean?
Apparently, there was some serious tech at work hundreds of years ago in secret space age stuff.
And you believe that?
I'm not going to question their word. You, by any chance?
Point taken.
This is...
That's all I remember. I swear.
Sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Are you alright?
I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to know them. And I couldn't even speak normally. Only those preset lines. Over and over and over.
Alright, you two. If you decide to accept your quarters, then from now on you will be completely free to live, think, and feel for yourselves. You won't be able to go back to the way you were before, and you will accept all of the ups and downs that come with it. You were human before, so you know what that means. It's an immense burden, you know. One that sometimes you may have to deal with alone. But I vow to help you to the very best of my ability.
Why did you go through so much trouble for us?
Because it's my fault you ended up like this. I'm responsible. I was the first successful experiment, and if I had just died, it would have been a failure. None of this would have happened. They wouldn't have had the research to work from. You wouldn't have been changed, and I wouldn't have had to spend God knows how long drifting alone in space. I should have...
You didn't have any choice of any of that. You can't take all the blame on yourself. They changed us. You fixed us. It's really as simple as that.
Well, can't really deny your logic there, can I? Thank you.
Any update?
None yet. There have been virtually no signs of any activity, one way or another, since they started. It's already been 96 hours now.
I'm sorry you're cooped up in the lab watching them, but we can't risk something happening when no one is around.
It's alright. I have no problem with this. Plus, I took the opportunity to help myself to some of the old movies on his computer. He kept the thing unlocked.
He probably left it open, so whoever was watching them would have something to do.
Huh. Remind me to thank him then.
Who's in the lab right now?
Yeah, I'm here. How are things in there?
Well, the hard part is over.
How did it go?
See for yourself. Faye, I'd like you to meet Liptika and Reliptika. The real Liptika and Reliptika.
Hey. Hi.
You lot had us worried, you know. But we are so glad you're okay.
I need you to do something for me for the next part.
What do you need?
It involves their new bodies.
New bodies? What's wrong with these ones?
Well, now that their minds have opened up, this is the ideal opportunity to change them into their most comfortable forms. It's pretty complicated, so I'll summarize. They're going to be changing how they see themselves, and their bodies should match that. Not only so that they're most comfortable, but doing so lessens the risk that their mind rejects their bodies. Rejection's a violent and traumatizing process that I want to minimize the risk of however possible.
I think I understand. So what do you need from me? I can do a lot, but building bodies isn't exactly in my skill set.
All I need you to do is wait for the data to be presented on the computer and launch the process. I upgraded the holding tubes to be able to construct the bodies using energy from the ship to power the... well, it's a lot. They build new bodies now. Neato, yeah?
So, I just wait for the prompt and let it do its thing?
Precisely. I already used them to make my upgrades, so it should be a pretty straightforward process, already being calibrated.
So, we're going to look different?
Only if you want to. You can look as similar or as different as you want to. It all comes down to how you see yourself. I'll give you plenty of examples, and whatever you feel most comfortable with is how it'll go, okay? Like a character creator in a game. Right, anyway, let's get started.
Good luck. Want to watch a movie?
Just how many Star Treks did they make?
Alright, girls, we're going to be trying out some new bodies to see what you're comfortable with. Luckily, I don't have to hand make any of these. That database on Earth's internet has a ton of repositories of models and designs we can go through.
And whatever one we most comfortable with is what we look like, right? It sounds simple enough. If it's alright, I think Liptika and I have decided these designs are the best. We had them for so long, willingly or not, that it just feels like us now.
Yeah, I suppose that does make sense. It does line up with my experience. If it's alright with you two, then, I'd like to propose one final option. I was going to throw these out if you decided on new designs anyway, but I have been tinkering with ideas for upgrading your chassis. May as well see if you like them.
You were thinking about changing us already?
It was while I was upgrading my own body, actually. I had ideas that I had ended up not using for myself, so I tried implementing them into you guys instead.
That means you have full data on our bodies, every inch and measurement.
Whoa, hey now, it ain't like that. It was all in the name of engineering. You guys are like far-off family to me anyway. I couldn't see you like that, even if I did have anything to look at.
I was just teasing you, jerk. What? Is all this?
Oh, look, a distraction! I've done some modifications, all of which you can choose to use or not use at your own discretion. I left a list of notes to go over. Both units will receive the following modifications fit for their chassis. Exoskin lining that will contain conduits and relays to be able to complete electrical circuits safely, store charge, and emit a defensive electrical tasing shock in the case of unwelcome violent contact. They will also carry separate low-capacity energy storage batteries in the event that they need to hold an additional electrical charge for later discharge for any reason. This battery system will be implemented into the highlights in their hair, which will glow brighter the more charge is held. Additionally, the main bulk of the hair on the head of the unit will be capable of absorbing and storing natural solar radiation, or sunlight. Theoretically, you could attach a relay to each end of the highlighted area of the hair and it would supply power. However, the most it can store is about 48 amp hours. Note, this function can be used in tandem with the normal self-output of the tasing discharge to further increase the energy output. Caution is advised. Moving on. Both units will receive enhanced optics that will be capable of 10 times zoom levels, standard night vision, thermal detection, and infrared detection. The middle fingers on each hand will have a pneumatic drive system, and the thumbs will be reinforced. This will allow the thumb to hold the middle finger in place and allow it to build up force, and release it in a flicking action. For reference, the average human is capable of about 6 pounds of force in this action, while Liptika and Reliptika will be capable of about 40 to 50 pounds of force. This will make it a viable multifunction tool when used creatively, as well as a formidable offensive device akin to a self-defense baton in nature. Finally, both units will carry a self-sufficient distress beacon, fashioned from a power cell of my own design. Upon activation, it will emit a pulse and accurate location info and a message for aid, sustainable for approximately 50 Earth years.
That's a long time.
You never know how long an emergency situation will last. Moving on, all potentially hazardous and or intrusive functions will be restricted to authorization and the judgment of self-defense matrix, which will determine the functions should be appropriate. These restrictions will be lifted either when appropriate or when the unit has proven to be capable of making those decisions reliably. They will be fairly dangerous, not only to everyone else, but to you as well. Imagine tasing Mona by accident, for example, because she got too close.
So we have to show that we can be trusted with that stuff is all. I don't know if I really want to be responsible for all those functions.
Well, you'll still have the freedom to not use any of the functions of your own volition. But if you insist, I can have the dangerous modifications excluded. Take a minute to think about it while I go over the last few things. Important notice. Both units will be installed with a last resort function, which activates in the event that the unit deems there is a viable threat to their and/or another's existence. This function will override any and all restrictions, without exception, allowing the unit to access their full capabilities until deactivated. In the event of an activation, a high-speed urgent notification will be sent to the sister unit, i.e. Liptika will be notified the moment Reliptika's last resort functions become active. Additionally, both units will be provided with access to Krail's data network aboard the Andromeda. This will allow enhanced data sharing, wireless communications, remote access functions, and more. Access to data and documents not explicitly shared openly in the network will require authorization from the individual data holder. In this, Krail forfeits the right to demand access to any personally held data contained within either unit, in the recognition and respect of personal privacy. Note: access to this network is for authorized users only. Both units will receive personal administrative authorization.
Wait, you're giving us all that?
I am. The most significant side of this upgrade will probably be the software side of it. You will be capable of so much more than you have been until now. You'll be able to do things like control cyberspaces like these, control computers remotely, communicate over vast distances, store and read data in the virtual server, and even be able to see and hear what each other experiences, with permission, of course.
Wicked.
I guess so? Wicked?
Did I say something weird?
No, not at all. I'm just not used to you two being free enough to use euphemisms like that yet.
Alright, I'm ready.
Alright. I'm not seeing any defects or abnormalities. Scans are normal. Diagnostics don't seem to be running into any errors. I think we're good. I'm going to transfer them over now. And we're good. Faye, can you grab Liptika? I'll get Reliptika. Let's take them over to the infirmary where we can lay them down. I don't have anywhere in the lab right now.
Yeah, sure.
I fell flat on my face the first time I came out of a full dive. You used to not having to adjust in cyberspace. Then you get back, and surprise, gravity exists. Rip bozo.
Mona.
Oh, I'm already looking for the footage.
Easy now. Take your time.
It feels so heavy.
Yeah, gravity'll do that. It's not like virtual space where there's no weight.
It's nice, but it's annoying. Faye! Oops.
Easy now. Careful.
She's been dying to be able to express herself for a long time. Let her have this.
Ah, I'm glad to see everything turned out okay.
Uh-huh. They seem to be functioning normally. There's gonna be a little fogginess as they wake up. They didn't lose any memory. It'll just take a little time to recall everything as their systems settle and they acclimate to their bodies. The only thing I'm seeing is some slight stress from waking up to the new experiences.
Well, that's quite understandable. I imagine it's like waking up from a long dream.
More like a nightmare.
Do you recognize me?
I believe so.
Do you remember Verhack?
My memory is still really fuzzy.
I think talk of Verhack would be a little too stimulating right now. We can bring it up at the briefing.
Do you want to get everyone together now?
Do you two think you'll be okay for a meeting? Well said. Thank you everyone for arriving. As you could surely tell already, there's been some developments in our old friends Liptika and Reliptika.
They're definitely different.
And moving around a lot more. I wonder why.
They've both been recovered. In addition to applying a general overall upgrade to both their systems and bodies, we've been able to recover their personalities and consciousness.
Recover?
They weren't always androids, as it turns out. Krail, go ahead and show them what we found.
Right. This was recovered from Reliptika's memories, from a long time ago.
Do you think this will work? What do we know about this research anyway?
Apparently, it's already worked once. We just don't have the subject.
Well, where is it?
Probably dead. Delumins said it's really old research.
The hell do you mean?
Apparently, there was some serious tech at work hundreds of years ago in secret. Space age stuff.
And you believe that?
I'm not going to question their word. You, by any chance?
Point taken.
As you can see, it's evident now that the research used to create me did not end there. Using what we could see in this footage, taking advantage of Reliptika's impressive observation at what was certainly a stressful and scary time, we can get some info from the devices she saw in that memory. First, the science team, who we now know is for certain from Earth, created me in secret. Then, they were discovered and on the run from authorities for experimenting with human subjects. Next, they were intercepted by the aliens who took over Earth. We have now discovered that they have come to be known as Delumins. The Delumins took the research from the team, finding some kind of value in it, and eliminated the team after resistance. They then proceeded to experiment on their own and try to replicate their findings, to some success, as you can see.
This has to be a lot for you to take in too, Krail. How are you holding up?
Well, if you want my unbiased and purely scientific opinion, it's crazy impressive what they've been able to accomplish. They replicated the technology quickly, and from what I can tell, they proceeded further as well.
Krail.
But as a person, this is something I cannot and I will not accept. These people's lives were stolen from them, and turned into no more than unresisting slaves. They can't even have their own thoughts or emotions. Any and all free will be snuffed out before it ever takes shape.
They're responsible for all the Verhack platforms too, which means they're probably called the destruction of Platform 13 and all the androids and all the other platforms as a result of the project too, right? Will we be able to save them like how you did Liptika and Reliptika?
That's uncertain. It would entirely depend on each individual one, how damaged they are, or if different methods were used.
What about Seela?
Uncertain.
We can think about that when we learn more.
So what do we do from here? So do we go after them?
We don't have the information or resources needed for anything like that for now. For now, we should continue with New Earths.
Bob's.
New Earths construction.
New Earth.
Bob.
Bob?
We've been terraforming and developing a new planet to inhabit as a sanctuary space, and as a main area of operations, I suppose. We can't rightly use the home realm for that.
Well, you guys enjoy yourselves with that. I'll be in my lab.
I want to see it. I'd like to see it too.
How about we go see it now?
Krail's not coming?
Ain't no way.
Please?
Nope. The fuck?
Yet?
Simulation seems to be functioning right.
Alright. I was asking that for 10 seconds to keep the breath.
Hit with the laugh. Hit him with the laugh again. Hit him with the Joker gas.
Get some water.
Why so serious? Let's go.
Starting wheezing. Crossover. No! No, you're not! Okay. 10 seconds of deep cleansing breath snap.
You know that I know that you know that I know that you want to fuck me. Now I'm gonna bend over. No.